Hello and welcome. This video is the first in a four-part series for PHASER site coordinators. It assumes you're already generally familiar with the pharmacogenomic testing for veterans program known by the acronym PHASER, and also with the VA's VistA CPRS electronic health record application. In this video, I'll introduce the components that make up the PHASER application environment in a VA VistA CPRS system. The next video in the series describes the connection between your laboratory and the Sanford Health Laboratory in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's followed by a third video that explains the end-to-end integration test or dry run that's performed to ensure your location is ready to start testing veterans. The fourth and final video wraps up the series with a review of daily PHASER operations that commence when live testing begins. The primary value of PHASER pharmacogenomic testing lies in its ability to enhance medication management for our veterans. Three application features help make this possible. First and most important is the PHASER reminder template. Making PHASER available at a VA medical center starts with installing this template, which is distributed and supported nationally by the VA's Office of Information Technology. One important difference between the PHASER lab test and most other lab tests is the VA's requirement for documented informed consent before the lab test can be ordered. Informed consent means we must explain the test to the veteran, answer their questions, and ask for their decision to either have the test, not have the test, or defer the decision. The reminder template is the only way to record the veteran's consent decision in their electronic health record. When a veteran decides to have the test performed, the template automatically displays the lab order. This is the only way to order the PHASER test. Providers will not find it on their usual lab order menus. The template also stores information about the veteran's consent decision and test results using a special type of VistA data storage element called a health factor. Health factors can be accessed by other VistA programs to check the veteran's pharmacogenomic profile when prescribing a medication. The PHASER reminder template is also how PHASER test results are entered. That's covered in more detail in the fourth video of this series. The second feature is an interfacility pharmacogenomics consult, or e-consult, that enables clinicians at any PHASER location to request a consultation with a clinical pharmacy specialist trained in pharmacogenomics. The consult is not restricted to PHASER and can be for anything that involves pharmacogenomics. Encourage your providers to submit one of these consults when they receive results from their first PHASER test. The clinical pharmacy specialist who responds will familiarize them with the test report and help them incorporate its use into their clinical practice. Last, PHASER makes use of the CPRS postings feature to provide a quick way to check a veteran's PHASER status in CPRS simply by looking at the electronic medical record cover page. There's a brief demonstration of these three features later in this video. There are also two powerful new PHASER features you should be aware of, both of which are expected to be available in roughly the next 3 to 6 months. The first is the Cerner Reference Laboratory Network, or RLN, interface. This is a combination of network infrastructure and software that's currently being developed and tested. It's an advanced version of the existing service that enables non-VA external laboratories to send lab test results electronically directly to the VA. PHASER will make use of this interface when it's available to eliminate the need for site coordinators to manually enter test results sent to the VA by Sanford Health. The second and very important new feature, which is currently being tested, are a series of PHASER clinical reminder order checks, or CROCs. CROCs are a form of clinical decision support that's built into VistA. A CROC automatically triggers a provider alert when certain predefined patient conditions are encountered in the electronic health record. PHASER makes use of CROCs to automatically notify providers when a veteran's pharmacogenomic test results may affect their medications. The PHASER Program Office will keep you informed as work on these two features progresses. Now we'll look at the components that make PHASER available in VistA CPRS. I'll begin by pointing out some things on this high-level representation of a VistA CPRS system that are in place before PHASER is installed. First, every day, patient information and other data from every VA VistA system is transmitted to a central corporate data warehouse, which is usually referred to by the initials CDW. Next, each VistA instance has a series of configuration tables that are tailored for each VA medical center. They contain information such as clinic names, available lab orders, parameter settings, user profiles, progress note titles, and lots of other information. Every medical center has a lab that performs tests locally and also sends some blood specimens to labs outside the VA who perform the test and return the results either electronically or by sending back a printed test report. Reports sent back as printed documents are usually scanned into VistA Imaging, where the full original report can be viewed by clinicians. And last, every medical center has a way to provide test results to patients either electronically or by mail. Technical support for VistA and other computer systems is provided by a local support staff with assistance from the National VA Office of Information Technology organization. Now we'll look at how PHASER fits in. PHASER implementation begins after a letter of commitment is signed by medical center leadership and the local PHASER core team, consisting of a pharmacy site champion, and site coordinator is formed as described in the PHASER project blueprint document, which is available on the PHASER SharePoint site. The installation steps we'll review now have been summarized for ease of illustration. Details are in the PHASER implementation guide and the VA PHASER template install guide, both of which are available on the PHASER SharePoint site. PHASER implementation can be divided into two general phases: VistA implementation and laboratory setup. This video is focused on VistA implementation. The laboratory phase is discussed in the next video in this series. Things begin when the CAC downloads and installs a copy of the VA PHASER reminder template. Next, the Lab Information Manager defines the PHASER lab order. Except where noted, the rest of the tasks we'll discuss are performed by the CAC. The CAC defines a lab quick order. This is a form of the PHASER lab test that is pre-configured for the outpatient environment. It makes ordering easier. The quick order is then connected to the PHASER reminder template. Next, the CAC defines the VA PGX authorized staff VistA user class. VistA users assigned to this user class are able to enter PHASER test results. It's usually assigned to the site coordinator and a backup. Next, the progress note title pharmacogenomics note is defined. The VA PHASER reminder template is then linked to this note title, so the template activates automatically when a new CPRS progress note with the title pharmacogenomic note is created. Next, the CAC places the pharmacogenomics note title in a special document class that causes it to appear in the display of postings. Postings are a type of alert that's built into CPRS. I'll demonstrate how it works in a moment. Moving on, the interfacility pharmacogenomics consult template and associated quick order are installed, and the IFC is added to the appropriate consult menu in CPRS. Last, you'll need to work with your Health Information Services Department to have an administrative clinic defined for use with PHASER. An administrative clinic is used for non-billable and non-clinical work, like entering PHASER test results. It's primarily used when creating CPRS visits to enter PHASER test results, but it can also be used for working with test patients, among other things. Now I'll go through a quick example with a test patient to demonstrate how PHASER works in CPRS after completing the steps we just reviewed. I will not demonstrate all aspects of PHASER, just enough to show how the pieces we discussed fit together and verify that PHASER has been installed correctly. I've selected a test patient, which you can verify by checking that the Social Security number starts with zeros. A posting with the title Pharmacogenomics Note does not appear at this point in the posting section of the cover page, so we know our test patient has never been consented for PHASER testing. We'll now create a pharmacogenomics note to document our patient's consent consent decision. CPRS requires that you create a new visit in order to create a new note. So we'll do that by using the administrative clinic DUR-PHASER. My VistA profile is configured for a nursing role, which means I must specify an ordering provider for this visit who, if this was a real patient, would review and sign the PHASER lab order I'll create in just a few minutes. Next, we navigate to the Notes tab, click New Note, and choose the Pharmacogenomics note title, which I have in my favorites list. The PHASER reminder template linked to that note title appears automatically. You can tell I've been assigned to the VA-PGX authorized staffed user class because the option to enter test results appears on this template. That's discussed in more detail in the fourth video of this series. So far, we've verified the following components are installed correctly. Now check the box to document consent and order the test. The test is only ordered if consent is given, so check that box since we want to verify the ordering components are working as expected. Note that health factors to record the consent decision and patient education performed at this point are built automatically. When you click the Finish button, those health factors are added automatically to the electronic health record for later use. Since I chose the option indicating our test patient consented to testing, the PHASER Lab Quick Order dialog displays automatically. The order is pre-configured as an outpatient, same-day lab draw, but you can switch to inpatient or change the lab date if you need to. In this case, I'll just accept the order and sign the progress note. We've now tested the additional components in our list. Now I'll go to the Consults tab, click New Consult, and see if I can find the PHASER Interfacility Consult or eConsult. The way to navigate to this consult will probably be different on your system. Contact your CAC for help if you can't find it. I won't actually submit the consult, but it's clear everything's been installed, which is the main thing we're concerned with at this point. We can check off the related items on our list. The last thing I'll do is check the postings feature. First, I'll need to refresh our test patient's record so it reflects all the changes I just made. The refresh request causes CPRS to prompt me to complete the changes I made. Since I'm not a provider and don't have ordering privileges, I'll select Hold Until Signed and click OK to continue. Refreshing the test patient's record then continues, and the pharmacogenomics note posting now appears on the cover page. Clicking the posting hyperlink displays the consent note I created earlier. At this point, we've tested all the component items on our checklist, and we can be confident that PHASER's been installed correctly. This completes the video. The next video in the series builds on this information and discusses establishing your connection with the Sanford Health Lab. Thank you.